of the day you see them working in a city that hardly ever sleeps. All around you are the memories of the places and the heroes that relived unending please. Ẹyọ bàbá ń ta wá tó ń fi góòlù ṣeré, àwa ò ní sanwó ní bòde ó ti lé. Ẹyọ bàbá ń ta wá tó ń fi góòlù ṣeré, àwa ò ní sanwó ní bòde ó ti lé. Take it to a place where the Fuji makes you dance. Àbí ṣó ti dé Makoko, where the fishes tend to dance. In the corners of the quarters of our past, Portuguese life and the living samples in Badagry will make your head scatter. Ẹyọ bàbá ń ta wá tó ń fi góòlù ṣeré, àwa ò ní sanwó ní bòde ó ti lé. Ẹyọ bàbá ń ta wá tó ń fi góòlù ṣeré, àwa ò ní sanwó ní bòde ó ti lé o. Take a look around and all you see is shining. The sounds, the lights and all the streets at night. And though you see your lover dark and take a walk to Freedom Park, you'll see the men and women dancing away. Eko ile, eko, eko ile, eko, eko ile. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Eko ile, eko, eko ile. Echo. Thank you. Thank you.
Now, with your music, I would define you as eccentric, in the sense that when you sing, there's a baritone in your voice, there's a depth to what you're saying, like it's coming from a place of deep experience and thought as well. So when you write, oftentimes, what inspires what you're writing about?
So I prefer to describe myself as eccentric rather than eclectic.
Eclectic?
Rather than eccentric.
Okay.
Eccentric is very English, almost sort of wacko. But I'm definitely eclectic. So I am driven by verse, yeah? And similar to you, when I think of music, I think in terms of sounds, the movement, the waves. And human nature is for me the biggest boom that I hear. So when I hear the boom of the drum,
That's a real drum.
That's a real drum. There's nothing as resonant as the human heart. Yeah, the capacity of the human heart and the human mind to do incredible things. Those things drive me. So whether you're strumming a guitar, you're playing a piano, those movements, those sudden doom. Yeah, it's storytelling. When I hear, I want to know what story is it, what's being told. Yeah, and it's a factor of what's the combination of of movements. So yeah.
You know, I like that you mentioned that because I, for one, I appreciate a person who understands the arrangements and the meaning behind the sound. Like, I dance salsa. And when I first started dancing, one of the things that they make you learn is listening to the rhythm in the rhythm. Now, you hear a very loud sound, but the only two things I dance to is the conga and the plane. So there could be a guitar, there could be a harmonica, there could be drums, there could be everything. But I have to listen to the...
Because that's what drives you.
Because that's what drives me.
Yeah.
That's what drives my feet. That's what makes me sway. So I really have a deep appreciation for this. But I also notice that you also have a deep appreciation for culture. So I look at you and I see, you know, very, I mean, I know you said that's very British, but I see it like very hippie, like, you know, let's go G-Shocky. I mean, I'm taking my mind down to the 2000s because that's the best time I can remember. People who wear the hat and the pants and the shirt. It's very cool. It's very, very cool. But then again, I listen to your music and I hear the fact that you're well grounded in your culture and in who you are. And you've been able to kind of merge these two worlds together. So how does that work for you?
I think like most of us today, my experiences, not I think, I know like most of us today, my experiences are multidimensional. So I am somewhat multicultural by factor of the circumstances of my origin, which is different from the circumstances and the place of my birth. I have lived in parts of the world that most people don't even know exist. You know,
wow. I believe that, and I actually believe that.
I have friends in all manner of places. I engage in whether it's cuisine or fashion or whatever it is. And we're all kind of multi like that. So I meet kids in Lagos who have never stepped outside of Lagos. They've never been to other parts of Nigeria, but can speak with an American accent. They can speak to English mores and English values. They know English literature. They know South African literature. It's the factor of the reality of today. So one of the roles that I consider as Ibeji is to bring all of this together under one umbrella and to express as one. So the fullness of me is reflected in the way that I clothe myself and I dress myself, in the way that I create sound, in the way that I create and I write, as you know, in the way that I write, and so on. So much of
And the way that you paint?
the way that I paint, yeah. All of it is all of me, and then one of me. So it's all, we all are somewhat of a weave. There's, you know, woven patterns, woven into one complete whole to create this one person.
It will be very it's a bit unlike me to ask you when your next release is, and I'll tell you why. I think your music is timeless, and it's not for seasons. And if you ask me, I'll say that comes from a place of not releasing music because, you know, you want to, like you rightly said about the awards, you just went there to have a good time. Because you want to be noticed, or because you want to fulfill some present day cultural phenomenon that is trendy. But because you've sat down and you've just said to yourself, this is what I'm feeling like saying right now. So in terms of how you release your music, the when and the kind as well, how do you arrange that? Because I think for you, it's a different metric system to your releases.
So I really love the way you put that. You literally embedded yourself in my mind and expressed it. Because you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
I don't, there is no structure to the madness. Yes, there is, yeah. So it's a feel thing, yeah. So my team would say to me, are we releasing in January? Are we releasing in February? And I'm like, what does it matter whether it's February or March? So I have a project, an album that was released earlier this year that I love desperately, Yellow Vanilla. I just think it's such an amazing project. And just as I was about to drop my next album, which is ready for delivery, I was playing it one day in the car and I had 2 or 3 friends who just sort of come in for a couple of days. They're like, when are you releasing this? I said, it's been released a couple of months. Like, oh, I love that song. And suddenly, I parked everything I was doing and went back and immersed my own self in my own sound. And so in January, I'm releasing a single from that album,
Okay.
8 Billion People, which I performed on Sunday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually created a video for it last week. That I think is just the most amazing video I've ever done because it was so quick.
How do you shoot? Like, you know, I imagine you don't have a regimen. Like, you're probably your director.
I am. In fact, it says on my videos.
Exactly. So when you make, because I've seen a couple of your videos.
Yeah.
What's that process like for you? Is it like extravagant? Is it complicated? Is it much more straightforward?
So sometimes I have a slightly complex stories to tell. I'm always finding ways to tell them the simplest because I'm always looking to cut costs, you know, because this is, you know, funding for a musician is not easy. Yeah. The video for 8 Billion People was I just want to be happy.
Yeah.
And I called a friend who is good on camera and said, let's go into the center of London and let's just create. And we spent 6 hours just being alive.
I thought we'd start with celebrating the city that brings so many of us so much joy. We're here because we love it, right, guys? Sorry? We love Lagos, right? It's not perfect, but it's our city, and we love it. There's a God above us, oversees all of us. Asheja adeda, lo dare. Òun ló ṣẹ̀dá gbogbo wa, ló ṣẹ̀dá àwa ẹ̀dá. Ẹ̀dá is man himself is God. Love of living things, create to recreate wonder. Ẹ̀dá. Àtẹ́lẹwọ́ Elédùmarè tó ń tilé ayé tó yí ní rere. Ẹ̀dá máa ní ilẹ̀ dá ò lè ṣe àti dá sáyé kó ti rú kó ti ga. Ó gbìyànjú dáradára. Ẹ̀dá ló balẹ̀ gbogbo iṣẹ́ Elédùmarè. Ẹ̀dá is molded to perfection. Ẹ̀mí Elédùmarè tó ń gbé inú ẹ̀dá. Ẹ̀dá is man himself is God. God of little things, create story, create wonder. Ẹ̀dá. Ẹ̀dá, 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 ẹ̀dá. àtẹ́lẹwọ́ Elédùmarè tó ń tilé ayé mú. Ayé tó yí ní rere ẹ̀dá máa ní. Kí lẹ́dà ò lè ṣe àti dá sáyé. Kó ti rú kó ti gbà.
Ó gbìyànjú dáradára.
Kó ti rú kó ti gbà.
Ó gbìyànjú dáradára.
Kó ti rú kó ti gbà.
Ó gbìyànjú dáradára.
So, Eda is a celebration. Eda is a celebration of mankind. It's a celebration of every single person in this room. It's my little ode to you. Because we're all truly incredible people. Every single one of us. If you live in this generation, you're very special. And Eda is it's just a little celebration of the nature of mankind. We little gods doing incredible things with technology and arts and so on. Àtẹ́lẹwọ́ Elédùmarè tó ń tilé ayé mú. Ayé tó yí ní rere ẹ̀dá máa ní. Thank you. I don't know if you work out what happened there. It happens all the time. Má ṣe bẹ̀rù aya mi, má ṣe fòyà. Àrẹ̀mú tó pa kòkò bọ̀ lóko. Èmi àrẹ̀mú tó pa kòkò bọ̀ lóko. Bórun bá ràn bójò bá rọ̀, mo máa wálé. Kórun máa ràn kójò máa bọ̀, mo máa délé. Àrẹ̀mú tó pa kòkò bọ̀ lóko. Kílẹ̀ máa fò gòkè bọ̀, mo máa wálé bá ọ. Má ṣe fòyà ọmọ mi, má ṣe bẹ̀rù wá. Àrẹ̀mú tó pa kòkò bọ̀ lóko. Èmi àrẹ̀mú tó pèrè bọ̀ lóko. Bórun bá ràn bójò bá rọ̀, mo máa wálé. Kórun máa ràn kójò máa bọ̀, mo máa délé. Àrẹ̀mú tó wẹ̀ lódò bọ̀ lóko. Ilẹ̀ máa fò gòkè máa bọ̀, ó máa wálé.